thank you so much for being here. I know it's a messy day out there, and it's always just like you really don't know exactly what to do on a Sunday morning when it's raining, because like last week was Easter. We had Easter last weekend. It all began like on Friday night with a Good Friday service, and that was a really great attendance that night. And on Saturday morning, we had the egg hunt. We had the parents and the kids all over the place gathering up all these eggs and eating candy. Then on Sunday morning, we had Easter Sunday, had great attendance. And it's like this, all right, what's going to happen the week after Easter? How's it going to look here at the week after Easter? Because if it's a little cloudy, the people's going to look back and say, I was there Friday night, and I took my kids Saturday morning, and I was there Sunday morning. I think I'm good for a month. I don't think I need to come back. And then you add rain to that. That's a done deal. I made up my mind. God's going to help me. He don't want me out there. The roads are slick. I could wreck. I could kill somebody. So for the safety of the world, I'm just going to stay home this morning. But y'all braved that. Y'all stepped across that and you came this morning. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're so excited that you're here. But really, when you think about it, Easter, if you look across the world on Easter Sunday, there's proof on Easter Sunday that for some reason that day, one day a year, for the majority of people, the largest amount of people, the largest attendance of people, for that one day, believe in God. For that one day, they're all going to come to church. They're going to believe in God for that one day. The sad part is that decades ago, if we go back a couple of decades, more people believed in God. I mean, they were bold about it. You could ask them if they believe in God. Say, yes, I believe in God, period. I don't have to explain it to you. I don't need to prove anything to you. I don't need to get out my Bible. I just believe in God. That was decades ago. But today, more and more people doubt. And they say, I want to believe, but I want to believe in God, but. And I've prayed for God to do this, but He didn't do it. I've asked God to do this, and He didn't do it. So I can't believe. But I want to, but. And there's some kind of ceiling or there's some kind of hurdle that's keeping them from truly and fully believing in God. And this happens to people who even grew up in church believing in God. Somewhere in their life, it might have been some kind of crisis of faith. There could have been something very disastrous that happened in their life, or it could be something very hurtful in their life. Someone did something to them. Someone hurt them. They've been disappointed. And they just kind of lost focus because I want to believe, but I just can't. I'd like to, but I can't. I want to believe, but there's just so much going on. So what we want to do in the next several weeks is I want to look at this idea, because when they say they don't believe, they're not really rejecting God. They're not really rejecting the God that we read about in the Scriptures. They're not really rejecting the God of the Bible. They're not really rejecting the Creator of the universe, the Creator of all things. They're not rejecting Him. When they can't believe in God, they're rejecting a confused distortion of a God that they've created in their mind. A preference type of God, a God that they chose and a God that they designed, and He hasn't met their expectations, so they have a hard time believing in Him. So over the next few weeks, we're going to look at that. And I want to encourage you, you might know people that think this way. Like next week, we're going to look at people, what we're going to call next week is, we're going to look at a killjoy God. A killjoy God. It's the kind of God that people have in their minds when they say, I want to believe in God, but there's just so many rules. It's boring. You can't have fun with God. There's just too many rules. He's not going to let me have any fun and do what I want to do. Have you ever thought that way? When I was a teenager, I don't want to follow God because look at all these rules. There are at least the 10 Commandments, and there's this whole book you got to read. There's just so much you got to do. You can't dress like this. You can't act like that. You can't go here. You can't go there. So many rules. It's killjoy God. And the week after that, we're going to look at a goosebump God. You know, a goosebump God. I want to believe in God, but I just don't feel Him. You know, I try reading the Bible, I look in the Bible and I read and I try going to church, but I just don't feel anything. Nothing is moving me emotional. How can you believe in a God that you can't see, or you can't hear, and you can't feel? It's a goosebump God. And then in the last week of the series, we'll look at a heartless God. I want to believe in God, but do you realize all the evil and all the bad and all the horrible things that are happening in the world today? How can you believe in a God that allows innocent people to be shot at airports, in shopping malls, at school? How can you believe in a God that would allow a child to die of hunger in the world somewhere when simple little things can be done to save them. How can you believe in a God that doesn't seem to care? A heartless God. Now maybe you know people like this. Because you work with people, you come in contact with people, and if they find out you go to church, you believe in God, do they ever ask those questions? Well, how can you believe in God? I'd like to believe in God, but there's so many rules. I'd like to believe in God, but I just don't feel anything about God. I'd like to believe in God, but He doesn't seem to have a heart. It doesn't seem like He cares. How do we deal with people like that? So the next few weeks, if you know somebody like that, bring them. We'll answer their questions. We'll try to remove some doubt. Maybe some doubts that you might have, some questions you might have just over the next few weeks. So today, right before I get into our first distorted view of God that people have created in their mind, I want to play a game. I want to have some fun. Because in church, we like to have fun, right? Yeah. Tell people, we go to church, we like to have fun. Now, if you're age 20s and 30s, you're in the 20s and 30s, and maybe we'll even go younger, teenagers and just preteen. If you're in that age right in there, you might not understand what I'm about to share, but just give me a few minutes. Actually, today, I want to focus on a more mature generation. Baby boomers. Okay, I want to get to a mature generation. I want to share some things with you to get you involved in a game here and have some fun. I want to talk about some TV shows. I want to show some TV shows, give you some things about some TV shows. And what I've learned that when I was growing up there, when we were growing up in my generation, if shows were really popular, they would put them back to back on the, one started at 7 and one started at 7:30 or 7:30, 8 o'clock. They put them right together. As an example, how many people remember The Love Boat and Fantasy Island? Oh, the pain, it starts coming back. We got Tattoo. We got, we started seeing all of this. It starts coming back. Gopher and Isaac and all, Julie and all them. That starts coming back. It's shows, real shows. How about Happy Days of Laverne and Shirley? Yeah, the Bonds, yay! Lenny and Squiggy, Lenny and Squiggy, they're great guys, some great characters, I don't really care with them. Or how about this, if ever two shows were ever meant to be together on the same night, The $6 Million Man and The Bionic Woman. You know how they ran and so fast and all, Lindsay Wagner and what was his name? Lee Majors, Lee Majors. See, y'all remember the show? See, we're talking about real TV here. Not this stuff that's on TV. Now, this is real TV that we grew up with. Now, I'm going to share something with, some generations won't have any clue what I'm about to do. There was also something about these shows that, no matter which one you chose to watch, if you chose to watch Happy Days, or if you chose to watch Dallas to see who shot JR this year, or, Mork and Mindy, Nanu. If you chose, whenever you wanted to watch those shows, now some of you younger generation, you're going to say, what in the world was he talking about? This makes no sense. If you wanted to watch a particular show, then you had to be in front of the TV at the time it came on. If it was Friday night at 7 o'clock and you got your chair in front of the TV Friday night at 7 o'clock, you had to watch it, because if you weren't there at 7 o'clock, you missed it. It was gone. Until that season was over, they started the reruns. You might have to wait till that week to get to see it. But, and get this, you had to watch all the commercials. Remember? And we're not talking 30-second commercials. These commercials are 2 minutes. 20 minutes of an hour show was commercials. And we loved it. Okay? And get this. If you wanted to change the channel, you got out of your chair and you walked to the TV and you went UHF or VHF and you found the channel, right? We're talking real TV. So obviously we live in a different world today. A completely different world. Show of hands. How many people just this week binge watched one of their favorite shows? Maybe even yesterday. You got up with your pajamas on, you went there in the living room, turned it on, and watched all 10 episodes. All 10. It's 4:30. I missed lunch, okay. This is what we do. We want to watch what we want when we want to watch, and we can do that now. We don't have to wait for Friday night at 7 o'clock. We get up Saturday morning and watch them all. I don't have to see the whole season. I'll just wait till the end of the season. I'll just watch them all. One time. I don't have time for TV. I'm on the computer all the time. Playing video games or something. See, what we live in what they call now an on-demand generation. An on-demand generation. We expect everything to be on demand. When we want it. We want to get what we want when we want it, and at this time, we can choose the time we want to do. We have this on-demand generation, this on-demand mentality. And I believe a lot of people, they want an on-demand God. I want God to do what I want when I want it done. I want to pray for God to do this. This is what I expect God to do. I want Him to do this. I want to believe. I want to believe. Because He didn't do it. If he was an on-demand God, like I demand this, I expect it to happen, but He didn't do it. I prayed it didn't happen. And I want to believe, but I can't. Because, I prayed that God would prevent my parents' divorce, and it didn't happen. I prayed that God would help me in this financial situation. I've been helping all kinds of people all along for all these years, and God didn't help me out here. I asked God for this, and He didn't respond. So I can't believe. And you see, when an on-demand God does not respond to our demand, doesn't do what we expect Him to do on demand, then He's not real, or He doesn't care. And the frustration of this on-demand God not responding to our demands, people will say, well, where was God in this? Why would God allow this? Why? And what they're saying is they're not really rejecting the Creator God. They're actually saying and asking, where was my on-demand God? Why didn't you meet my demands? Because the reality is, an on-demand God does not exist. He does not exist. He does not exist to do what we want, whatever we want. He does not exist to meet our request and do what we want Him to do when we want Him to do it. God does not exist to serve us. We exist to serve Him. Now, if you open your Bibles at all, just spend some time reading through the Bible. It should become very clear, really quick, that we are not the main character in the Bible. God is. It says in the Scriptures, He is Lord of all. That means He's Lord of us, not the other way around. He's Lord of us. He's the Creator. We are the created. He is the potter. We are the clay. He shapes and molds us. We don't tell Him what to do or expect Him to do something for us. He does this for us. He works inside of us. And again, I believe all these people in the world that have trouble believing in God is because they have this concept in their mind that it's an on-demand God. And because He's not an on-demand God, they can't believe. The problem is they've got this distorted, inaccurate view of who God really is. So we ask them this question. If God is not an on-demand God, then who is He? And what is God really expected to do? What is God really going to be doing in my life? What does God do in my life if He's not an on-demand God? What do I know about God? How do I find out who He really is? So that's what I want to do in this series. And I want to give you an example today. I want to look at some things about God, about the nature of God, to help us all understand who He really is. And the first thing is this, that God always loves. God always loves. Now, how many parents are in the room? Raise your hand high and proud. You're a parent. I don't care what they said about you. I'm a parent. There's two things I know about us as parents. There's two things I know. There is never a time when we do not love our children. Would you agree? There's never a time we do. Now, we might not like them all the time. And we might want to trade them in sometimes. We might want to knock them in the middle of next week. But there's never a time when we do not love our children. The second thing I know is there are times, because you love your children, you do not do what they want you to do when they want you to do it, even if you have the power to do it. The kids are saying, what? Is that true? We know it's true. Because we can't do everything for them, because it's not that we don't love them, but it's because we do love them, and we want to do something in them. We want to develop something in them rather than do something for them. When I spoke at my daddy's funeral, one of the things I told people was Daddy taught all his kids how to do things, but he never did them for us. He let us smash our knuckles. He let us crush our hand, cut ourselves. He let us do that. I don't think he laughed about it, but as much as I would have, but anyway, he let me learn how to do things instead of doing it for me so I wouldn't have to say, I don't know how to do it. We love them so much. I mean, we'll pick up their toys so many times after asking him to do that, and then we just start throwing the toys away. Right? Parents going like this, yeah. Because we're not, it's not we don't love them, we're just trying to teach them obedience. If I ask you to pick it up. We're trying to give them some responsibility. This is what you're supposed to do. We can only tell them so many times when they get home from school, you need to do your homework. You need to do your homework. You need to be working on your homework. Get off the TV. Get off the games. You need to be doing your homework. And now, at 10:30 at night, you decide to open your books. You decide this has to be done, and you need my help. You're on your own. Responsibility. Obedience. Your car is out of gas again? I guess you're not driving anywhere then, are you? Because I'm not putting any gas in. And the kids are like, Daddy, what does this say right here? No, don't listen to him. I've warned some of you, you'll get the ribs. No, don't listen to the guy on the stage. Don't listen to the man behind the curtain. No, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Yes, I know what I'm talking about. That's how I was raised. If I didn't have any money, I didn't put any gas in the car. I didn't go anywhere. On a bicycle. Went to work. Save my money, all gas. You know, we learn from that. Now, if that little light comes on in my car, man, I panic. I go looking for a gas station because nobody's going to buy my gas. I don't do that. See, God always loves us. This is what He does for us. You always love your children. You don't always do what they want you to do because you love them. When God doesn't do exactly what we want Him to do for us, even though we know He could do it, even though we believe He should do it, it doesn't mean He doesn't love us. God always loves us. In fact, in the New Testament, in Romans, in chapter 8, the Apostle Paul wrote this to the Roman believers. Romans chapter 8, verse 35 says this, "Who shall separate us from the love of Christ?" And you can change that and say, "What shall separate us from the love of Christ?" What shall separate us? Shall trouble or hardships or persecution or famine or nakedness or danger or sword? Move it up a little couple centuries here. Shall financial trouble, relational breakdowns, or unemployment, or illness, or depression? This is what Paul is saying. And I'm going to ask you, he said the same thing Paul was asking us. Can anything separate us from God's love for us? No. It's the same thing Paul said in verse 37. Look at this, what he said. Verse 37. No. No. In all these things, and anything else you can add to the list, whatever you can think of that can cause you to think that God cannot love you, we are more than conquerors through our own power, through our own definition and description of who God is, and because we made Him an on-demand God. Is that how we get through our struggles? No. We are more than conquerors through Him who loved us. God doesn't prove His love for us by answering our prayers. God loves me because He answered my prayer. No, He doesn't prove His love by answering our prayers. He doesn't prove His love by doing what we want Him to do. God proved His love in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. He proved His love by allowing His Son to come to earth to take all of our guilt and shame and failures and sin on His Son. That's how much He loved us, to allow His Son to take what we deserve to the grave. He died for us because God loves us. And nothing's going to take that love away. When you look at it that way, when you look at God's love for us through Jesus Christ, this is what Paul says next. "For I am convinced, beyond a shadow of a doubt," beyond everything I know. Paul was very intelligent, very educational, very theologically minded. "I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all creation." You sum all of that up into one word. It says, nothing will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus our Lord. Nothing. There's never a time God doesn't love us. But He will not always do what we think He should because He loves us. God always loves us. And God's ways are higher. Always higher. Always higher. When things happen in our life that we don't understand, our first response is, why? Why did this happen? God, why did this happen to them? Why did they die so young? God, why are there natural disasters? God, why are there terrorist attacks? God, why are these senseless shootings? Can you explain to me, God, can you explain to me why this is happening? And as a pastor, I get these questions. People will come to me. I get a group of people talking. We have a casual conversation about current events or whatever's going on, and they'll find out I'm a pastor. So, can you tell me why God would allow this to happen? And I'm sure you've probably been in the same boat. You know people, and they go to church, or they don't go to church, but they know you go to church, and you'll be talking about something, about a relationship with God, and say, well, can you tell me something? Can you tell me why God, this great God that you talk about, would allow this to happen? Can you explain to me why? And I know you don't know what to say, so I'm going to tell you exactly what I tell people, and you're free to use it. When someone asks me, can you explain to me why God allows this to happen? This is my response. Feel free, you can use this anytime. No, I can't. 3 words. No, I can't. I can't explain why. But I can, and I will, trust God and His Word in all the whys of life and all the whys that you can ask. I'm going to trust God. Because if you open up His Word, you go to Isaiah 55, it actually records God's words. Isaiah the prophet, God was talking to him, and he actually said these words. Isaiah 55, verse 8. God's talking and says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than yours, and my thoughts than your thoughts. We don't think alike. We don't plan things alike. We don't process things the same way, and we never will. So what He tells me, or, you don't know nothing. We don't know all the answers. Why? Why do you think we would know all the answers? We're just people. We're sinners. There's no way we know all the answers. And when I read this, just this passage right here, just these 2 verses, I find comfort right there. I find comfort knowing that God knows more than I do. That He's wiser than I am. He knows what's ahead. I mean, He's already at tomorrow. Time doesn't hold Him. He's already at tomorrow. He knows what's going on. Even when I don't understand it, even today, I might not understand it, but He's working all things to the good for me in His way. Not my way, His way. I don't know it right now, but one day I'll be able to understand it because I'll look back. You ever done this? Look back in your life and see all your mistakes? And to see how God has done this, and God has done that, and God has orchestrated this, and God has moved this, and God has done this because it's His ways. It's just what happens. It's what happens in our life. And here's the thing: for some of you, you're dealing with something right now, and you don't like. And to top it off, you don't understand why it's happening. Why, God? Why is this happening? Why aren't things going my way? This is what I expected. Why is this not going? But if you're a follower of Jesus, I mean, if you've given your heart to Him, to a God who loves you, and that love cannot be taken away, then even in the difficult times, even in the struggles, things will go God's way for us. It may not always go our way, but they'll go God's way because God's ways are higher. They're always higher. We may not see it now, but one day we will. See, maybe you're not a follower of Jesus yet. Maybe you just began the journey recently. Or maybe you've been on the journey for a little while, but things haven't been so smooth as you thought it was going to be. Maybe things aren't quite going the way you thought they were going to go. Things are not working out like you wanted them to go for you. So I want to challenge you. Wherever stage you're at, I want to challenge you. If you'll just go beyond complacent Christianity. Complacent Christianity is a kind of Christianity. It's kind of going to church when you feel the need to. It's kind of participating when you feel like it. It's kind of getting involved when you can work it into your schedule. If we can get just past complacent and truly seek God, truly pursue God, I mean, truly go after God with our whole heart, seeking Him with our whole heart. See, we'll begin to experience God's nature in a very deep, assured way. Feeling and knowing His love is always there, and knowing that He has a better plan for us than we can ever come up with, and that He's always with us. We would learn that God's presence is always enough. Always enough. It won't matter what you're going through. It won't matter what you're dealing with. It won't even matter what you're facing at the moment. Because you'll know when you seek God, truly seek God, you'll know you're not alone. As believers, we're never alone. We are never left alone. It reminds me of, I think the best example would be in the Old Testament. It's King David. King David, he was called a man after God's own heart, meaning that he constantly pursued God. Constantly pursued a relationship to know who God is and to experience His nature. Even his life, if you look at his life and read a biography of his life through the Bible, it's filled full of ups and downs. I mean, there's blessings in David's life and there's trials in David's life. There's people that fought with him and there's people that tried to kill him. All through his life, he was up and down all the time. And he was constantly seeking God, constantly pursuing a relationship with God, a closer relationship with God. And one of the most powerful statements he ever recorded, that's recorded in the Bible, one of the most powerful things he put in word is about the realization of God's presence in his life. There's a lot of things that David wrote, a lot of psalms, but there's one line that he put in a psalm. It speaks volumes, and it still speaks today. In the 23rd Psalm, David said this: "Even though I walk through the darkest valley," another translation is, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death." Even though I walk through the darkest valley, even though I'm walking through the darkest moment in my life, even though I'm going through the most difficult time in my life, the most difficult struggle in my life, even though I'm in the lowest point in my life, I will fear no evil. I will not be afraid. I ain't scared. Why? For you are with me. God is with me. God's presence is always enough, even in the darkest valley. Now, if you're a believer in an on-demand God, this is where you check out. No. Because God, the one I've created in my mind, shouldn't allow dark valleys in my life. That's not the God that I want. That's not the God I want to believe in. I want to believe, but I can't because God allows these dark valleys. I don't believe, see, an on-demand follower is like, I don't believe God should allow struggles in my life. I don't believe God should allow disappointments in my life, or failures, or loneliness. I don't think, and if He does, then I can't believe in Him. He's not the God for me. But have you ever thought, just as a believer, as a believer, one of God's children, have you ever thought that maybe things go dark in our life on purpose? That struggles are on purpose? Could it be that things go dark so that we'll seek light? More intently focus on pursuing God because of the darkness? believing in God is easy on the mountaintop. I mean, when we're in the middle of the worship in here and believing in God and raising your hands, that's easy because you feel God's power. You sense God's power in there. You got all the joy and you got all the excitement. You got all the praise going on. This is easy. I can believe in God here. But it's in the valleys. In the darkest valley. In God's faithfulness. And His love. And His ways. And His presence draws us ever closer to God. You want to get close to God? I want to get really close to God. Be careful. Because it's going to take the dark valley. See, I'm convinced. I'm convinced that until God is all you have, you'll never realize God is all you need. So you get to the point there in the valley where there's no celebrations, there's no praise and worship, there's no friends around, there's nobody there till it's just you and God. You'll never realize how close that relationship with God can be, that He is all you need. His presence is always enough. So in that darkest valley, in that darkest moment, when the on-demand God people bail, they say, well, I can't be without God. Remember this. God always loves. Always loves. There's nothing can take that love away. His ways are higher. You won't see it now, but one day you will, because His ways are so much higher than ours. And no matter what you're going through, even in the darkest valley, His presence is always enough. It's always enough. Let's pray. God, we live in a world today, we've grown up in a world today, we've matured into a world today that everything is right here whenever we want it. We can have what we want, when we want it, as often as we want it. We can get it. And that affects us. It affects us mentally, it affects us emotionally, it affects us socially. Sadly, sometimes it affects us spiritually. Because we want you to do this. We want you to make this happen. We want you to take care of this. And when things get tough and when you don't quite answer like we want, depending on our belief in you, we'd probably just push you off to the side and don't even think about you again for a while. But then again, as a follower of Jesus Christ, in a relationship with you, God, through the death and resurrection of your Son, Jesus, we live a life now to where you love us. Sometimes we just have to be reminded of how much you love us. That nothing can separate us from that love. Nothing can take this love away. So never failing, never giving, endless love for us. Everything you created, everything you did, every plan you put together, every mountain, every valley, you designed for us. Because you love us. We may not understand it now, but we trust you because your ways are higher than ours. Your thoughts. We're not even on the same page. We're not even in the same classroom. But you got a plan. One thing we know for sure out of all of this, you're always with us. And your presence in my life, right now, in this moment, it's all I need. It's all I need. All I need. If you're at a point in your life right now that God's not that real, that you're struggling and you want to believe, I want to believe, but this hasn't happened, this did happen, I didn't want that to happen, and this is hurt here, and I'm struggling here, and I'm failing here. God loves you. And to prove His love for you, He allowed His Son to die for you. To prove His love for you, He took away the only thing that could keep you from Him, and that was death. He took that away as well. If you believe, that Jesus died for you, that God raised him back from life, you believe that and accept that, and you start a brand new journey as a follower of God, one of his children that he loves with everything. He's got some plans for you. You might not understand it right now, but it's going to work out his way. Maybe not ours, but his way. And be assured of this. He is always with you. Always. Maybe today is your day to believe. God, we thank you for the love that you give us. We thank you for the sacrifice that you made for us. We thank you for your love, your thoughts, and your presence in our life. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.